I have to be prolific. So I have to have these guys coming up all the time. I don't want to just own one business, you know. So I'm doing this Patreon. I own a gym. I have fighters. I do all this. So I want to own more businesses, more gyms, more things, and just I got to be prolific.
Happy Halloween, innit? Happy Halloween, innit?
Happy Halloween.
Hey guys, this is episode 16 of Combat on the Couch, but actually this is episode 1 of Combat on the Couch, Patreon version. Patreon episode only. Nobody's seeing this except for the Patreons.
So this is actually going on the breakdown page.
Right.
Episode 1 of the podcast on the breakdown.
Podcast on the breakdown?
Whatever that's going to be.
Come on, we can think of something better than that. This is episode 1 of the breakdown while your podcast... Cut. Nah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, dude, this is a Halloween episode. And this is Rich, dude. Hey, wait. I forgot. I'm going to cut that out. Who are you, dude? Who are you?
I'm Freddie.
Okay, this is Freddie.
Yeah, I'm Freddie.
Where's your knives?
Oh, that's my cousin, Freddie Cougar. I'm Freddie French Fry.
Oh, just Freddie French Fry, dude. You're not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you kill the French fries.
Yeah, I definitely kill the French fries.
He kills those fries. Yeah, this is going to be a fun episode. I've got no rules. We've got a lot of planned. We've got no rules, but a lot of plans for a lot of things. I'm not even going to lie. I have pieces of paper in my pocket right now that have things written on them. What are they about? We're going to find out.
So, since this is the first podcast, I know there's, for the breakdown, I know there's everybody that's in or subscribed to the Patreon page is already probably listened to the Spotify podcast, with the exception of 1 or 2 people. So, to kind of give an introduction to myself, I'm the guy doing all the breakdowns on the page. My name's Richard. I'm the head coach, trainer here at Kearney Combat Sports. And I'm using this page to kind of sharpen my mind, kind of learn film study, learn how to break down fighters, and build up my fighters at the same time. So it's a tool that I'm using to sharpen everything I'm already currently doing as a coach and as a business owner and all those things. So if you don't know, now you know.
Flexing that muscle of talking to yourself, talking to a camera, using a lot of enthusiasm when you're talking, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
If you don't do that on a regular basis. So
yeah, you do a good job of that. I struggle with my enthusiasm because I feel like I'm just learning and I don't know enough to be enthusiastic. It's funny because I've been doing martial arts for 15 years, and I still don't feel like I know enough to be confident about the shit that I'm seeing. So I think after a while, though, I get more reps, I can turn that corner. And that's why I'm doing it. You're kind of the one that put me on, get those reps. And so I'm going to get a lot more film studies in this next year and just get a ton of reps in and hopefully be one of the smartest coaches out there. Is a plan.
Oh, that's the plan. And it's going to work because it's a good plan. But, nah, seriously, though, talking with, like, a lot of, like, enthusiasm is hard. Like, I really don't do it all the time. It's pretty hard.
But you do it all the time.
I only do it when people are looking.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times when I'm just, like, not letting anybody look at me. Like, I'm just alone for, like, the sake of, like, not doing it. Because when somebody gets around me, instantly, I'm doing it.
So are you an introvert? No.
I don't think there's a label.
Do you need to recharge? Do you get energized by being alone?
Everything. I love being around people, and I get energy from them. But I have to come away from them. So what is that? You know? But then when I'm alone, I have to have that. But then when I'm alone, I feel like I just have to go out and be with people. So I don't know. I think that people... Honestly, I think people put too many labels on what they are, and then they become a thing. So I just don't label myself at all, so then I'm not a thing.
But you are a thing.
I am a thing though, right? You're always something.
You're always something.
Like, I'm definitely not an introvert, like, all the way, right? Like, there's introvert people for sure, and it's like, oh, dude, I'm not you. But I've seen introverts get around me and then go do more shit.
Right.
So it's like you labeled yourself, and then somebody else came into your life and upped your productivity just because that's how it gets when you're around a productive person. You want to do more stuff, so then you become more like not yourself. You become less of yourself. You become more like the version of you that's an extrovert.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of being, part of what it is to be in a community, a healthy community of people. You know, you're gonna have extroverts, introverts, people that are attracted to one another because, you know, if you're an introvert, you're probably gonna be really lonely half the time, and you probably don't have the social skills to be
Exactly.
outgoing and make friends, but an extrovert does, you know. So yeah, I think that's part of just being in a community of people that make you a well-rounded person.
They have a little bit of everything in them.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of cayenne sauce. You know what I'm talking about? My best friendship in like high school, middle school. Yeah, he's probably gonna lose a mask,
I'm
but
gonna take the mask off.
yeah, that's fine. Happy Halloween. This is the day after we called Thanksgiving, and we asked for an extension on Halloween for a day so we could do this podcast.
Oh, that's so much better.
Oh, yeah. But my best relationship in high school was an introvert dude who wanted friends, and I, as an extrovert dude who wanted friends, we both didn't know how to handle each other. So he would just shut up and sit alone, and I was talking to literally everybody. So then we became best friends, and we hung out for like 4 years, all high school. Good time. And then we don't talk no more, so that's cool. But hey, that's life though, for real.
Yeah, that is life. Going back to what we're trying to do with this Patreon page. Where was I going with this?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because we slowed things down here in the Patreon. We're gonna be here for a while, and not forever, but probably all day. Nah, just kidding. But you have to. It's like conversation. That's what I'm telling everybody that wants to get involved in it too. People keep hitting me up all the time, and I love them, but it's not what they think it is, and we don't get to, because they're not listening to the podcast. They're just seeing the clips, and they're asking, "Hey, how can I be involved? How can I hey, let me on the pod?" And so most of it is playful, and most of it is like very genuine and just very like real. They're just trying to be real people, have connections, stuff like that. But what we conversate about, nobody knows. So the Patreon is exactly where we're going to conversate about things that we want the community to know that we can't tell one-on-one to everybody. So that's what we want this to be. There we go. But in that, we're going to talk about like how are we going to grow the gym? Like that's a specific niche thing that for most of business, don't talk about business in front of other people. Oh, you don't tell everybody what you're gonna do, and then they're gonna do it too. Mm-hmm. Well, are you so insecure that you can only think of one thing a week, or what, dude?
Right.
Like put out more. More.
The other part would be figuring out how to grow the Patreon page, and my idea right now is just to fucking put way more content out and just develop myself as an expert on what I'm seeing. And then also, I think the unique part of what I'm doing is I'm also a coach, so it's like I get real life feedback on the shit that we're doing. And then the thing that people don't see though is our training methods. I can talk about what I'm seeing on film. I can talk about the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu and boxing, all that. But it's how do you put it together in a training methodology that's going to help guys win fights. And that to me, I'm still trying to figure that out. But
so do you go into like YouTube? Do you go to YouTube and be like, okay, here's like 15 videos for the past 3 days that I've kind of logged in my brain. Like now I'm going to go into this next practice that I have and I'm going to try to put 4 of them in. Is that what you try to do? Or are you more like, I'm going to try things and then watch YouTube?
No.
Or is YouTube not involved at all? Like what's your process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Heath Padigo came to Kearney, Nebraska a couple years ago and brought his team, and they hosted a jiu-jitsu camp here. If you don't know who Heath Padigo is, Heath is the head coach of Padigo Submission Fighting. Padigo Submission Fighting is out of Mount Vernon, Illinois. They're one of the probably top gyms in the world right now, but they're just like a ragtag group of guys.
Mount Padigo.
Yeah, they're just fucking killers, you know. They're badass dudes. They train hard as fuck all the time. And while Heath was here, he's been doing jiu-jitsu for 20 plus years, you know. I think he's in his early 40s, mid 40s. Great coach. He has the respect of all his athletes, and I was able to talk to him, and he was kind of the one that led us down this path. So he mentioned to us that he doesn't watch instructionals, he doesn't watch YouTube, he doesn't watch, well, some of the stuff is going to be on YouTube, but he doesn't watch YouTube videos or like Instagram reels for technique. That's what a lot of people do. He watches the top tier athletes and breaks down their footage. So he does real film study. And so when Heath was talking to us about that, right around that time, Jack Anguish was helping train the guys. And he played in the NFL and D1 football. So what do? Well, they watch a lot of film study. It's not just practice footage that they watch, because they also watch practice footage. They watch game footage, a lot of game footage from the other team that they're about to play. So film study at the elite level, someone's got to be doing it. Maybe not the athletes themselves, but the coach or someone on the team needs to be studying footage.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get a good idea of what's happening at the highest level. Mm-hmm. And there's always a shift. There's always an emphasis somewhere else. So like right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to my UFC Fight Pass, and I will pick the most influential fights of the year, right? Because there's a trickle-down effect. And what I think is the 155-pound division has the most stacked talent in all of the UFC. So just right there, you can look at the 155-pound division, look at the top 10 fighters in that division, how they fight, and you'll have some recurring themes throughout those guys. So what I'm doing is watching what they're doing, breaking it down, and how do you defend it. And then it becomes basically a system, right? A chain. So you defend, they counter. They counter, you defend, or you attack. So it's just a chain of movements. So you can kind of predict how the game's going to evolve. So real quick, like the Dagestani fighters, they're dominating. You got Khabib and Islam, back-to-back champions basically at the 55-pound division, the most stacked division in the UFC. So watching them fight over and over again, they have just some common things that they're really good at, some really fundamental basics that they're really good at. And then they'll fight someone like Volkanovski, who's not known necessarily for his grappling, but he does really good against Islam. So what the hell did he do? You know, so and then you got other fighters like Charles Oliveira, you got Beneil Dariush, a whole list of guys right now that I'm looking at that I'm studying for the grappling side of it. So that's part of it. And then before I get too long-winded, the other part is I'm watching YouTube for all the Petrosian fights and I'm trying to find all the Mayweather fights. They're not all on YouTube, but and then one of my favorite fighters is Triple G, which is this guy up here, Triple G. So yeah, I'm picking the top guys and trying to figure out what they did well. And once you get used to looking at footage, real like action live time, and you slow it down, you get to really see a different game. It's not like practicing 1-2s and looking at an instructional. It's a completely different thing. And sometimes what's working at the top level, you're not going to find in some instructional somewhere, you know, unless you're talking about like Gordon Ryan or somebody, you know. But yeah, that's kind of my little spiel on that.
No, yeah. I think that just me watching, because I don't watch a lot of UFC. Mm-hmm. Like I don't watch a ton of it, but I follow everything on Instagram, and I'm not on my phone to take in a lot of content. But like I do take in some, you know, I do find myself like, all right, well, I got a couple seconds here, so I'm gonna look at it. But like, you know, and watching the breakdowns, I feel like when you do slow it down like a lot more, because, you know, since I'm like trying to watch it. I'd rather watch what I like can. And sometimes I'm like, well, there's no fights on, so I like go to the breakdown and then be like, okay, I kind of am watching a fight, but I'm getting like I'm watching like my friend tell me how the fight is, and then instead of just be like watching it so fast and you're just like, it's whatever. You're kind of able to watch the fight slower, which is way more fun because like people like these dudes are so good. Like they are moving like exactly where they want to go sometimes in like certain kicks and like certain punches, and in slow motion you can kind of see maybe like he was fully committed and then at the last second like dropped it lower and then ended up moving, like, you know, like you're kind of like, oh wow, that actually was like a movement. It wasn't just like his arm went that way. Like he 100% was like purposely like, oh, you know, like, and that's how fast things are. Yeah. So I mean, it's a very interesting way to take in content for real, but it's extremely instructional.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna look at, and this is for diehards, you know. I hope my team can be diehard about their improvement and their film study and their fight IQ as much as I am, but you know, you can only provide the tools and hope that they use them. But what I really want to do next is find the fights I like the most, right? Mm-hmm. And watch them at half the speed. So really breaking down the fights at half speed, which can be kind of like slow and boring if you're not into that kind of thing. But
yeah, you'd have to be real into that.
Yeah. But that's just a tool for myself to practice seeing what's actually happening. And then when I practice seeing what's actually happening, I can start formulating ideas as to how to train that, how to get the certain development we're looking for. And what you see in film sometimes is guys, they do a lot of techniques, but they'll always go back to their favorite techniques, and because they're more efficient, they're quicker, they're stronger with those techniques. So you got to spend time in certain areas to develop that. So my obsession right now is development. And, well, what's the development we need to put guys in the UFC? And when you start looking at the UFC in that lens,
for real,
there's very few people fighting specifically for the UFC. There's a lot of guys training jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys training their kickboxing. There's a lot of guys training their wrestling over here. And then some guys are training their wall wrestling over there. But very few guys have put it all together. So we don't have the best team, but we've accomplished, I would say, some pretty good little feats this past year with a 7-man crew. So another thing I want to do is, as I'm doing all this, is really grow my fight team. I want to have 20 professional fighters in the coming 5 years, but one of my goals was to have 5 professional fighters by the end of 2024. Mm-hmm. So if Hunter, you're hearing this, hopefully it's this: Jose, Delfino, Vanessa, Hunter, and Hayden. And that's my 5 right there. And then that's a big goal. How many teams even have 5 pro fighters?
I don't know.
That just started out of obscurity, you know?
How many do?
Not very many. Not very many in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, so for sure. Around here, yeah, nobody.
If I'm going to start somewhere, I got to start in my region. I got to take over my region. So that's the goal. Got to just outwork everybody else, and I think we're already kind of on that. And then you expand the region. So then we'll fight the Kansas City, the Denver, Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I've been doing this film study, is because I'm already studying those teams, and I'm really trying to figure out how you fight those guys.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys are, like, a lot of those teams in, like, Denver, Factory X, those guys have a lot of people in the UFC right now already. So if we can beat them on the lower levels, right, in the regional circuits, then it would make sense by the time we get to the UFC, we'll beat them when we're in the UFC. That's at least my line of think. I don't know if that.
No, I'm with it.
We
I just take time to respond sometimes.
Yeah, if we can pull it off, then I'm gonna look like a genius, obviously. But if we can't, then it's just gotta work harder, I guess. You know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a long ways in the future. There's a lot that needs to be done before that. So
I don't think that's that far in the future.
It doesn't. It could be, but it's more than a couple days. So it's like,
yes.
What are we doing at the moment to really make all of these 5 people like the most gangster, even though we've already kind of talked about it on the podcast so many times. We've talked about the camps. We've already done that. We're not going to don't go into anything that we've already said before.
No, but it would,
is this film study kind of like one of the things that's different that you're doing?
Yeah, the film study is definitely something that I don't think anybody in the region is doing as a team.
There we go.
Because my team's
like
on that film study.
Right,
and I'm breaking us down.
Right.
And I'm really trying to get these guys to watch higher level athletes constantly.
Right,
to see how they move and what they're doing.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that also separates us is our standard. You know, we have to have standards.
Literally, the standard is, if you have to want to watch these videos. You want smarter fighters.
Yeah.
Like, you literally are setting, a little bit of a standard by saying, we kind of want our guys to sit at home and watch these videos because you're going to be smarter if you do it. So
exactly.
We want the smarter people here, too. We want literally smarter fighters.
Well, and then when you're moving up the ranks, you're fighting way more dangerous opponents. And
they're smarter.
And they're smarter. They're smarter and they're dangerous. They're athletic. Yeah. They're strong. They're committed. You know, they come from a bigger talent pool in bigger cities.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the mental pressure and anxiety of all that? Well, you have to continue working, but then you absolutely put everything you have into your training. And your training isn't just physical, it's also mental.
Everything it is, yeah.
So you have to be studying. Now, I have to lead the way, so I have to make sure.
Yeah.
You know, even though I think a lot of my film studies right now are very not spectacular. You know, they're not anything crazy spectacular. They're just ordinary. My voice is kind of monotone. But just like anything, the more practice I get, that's just going to get better too. So even more so right now, while my voice is boring and all that, to sit down and be able to watch that, it's, kudos to anybody that's doing that.
I get it. No, it's not really that hard. I mean, I watch them. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm like watching as much as I possibly can of everything that I want to take in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But no, I don't think it's extremely hard. I just think you will get better at just articulating and just bringing like emotion to it, but it's hard. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, especially for long periods of time, if you're not having like regular conversations for long periods of time and you're really getting like thoughts out and you're really like listening to like somebody pretty intently, it's kind of hard to go alone and bring that enthusiasm.
Yeah. That's a skill that I'm trying to develop. I'm also trying not to use filler words all the time, like and then it's like, I'm like,
it's all right. It's all right.
Do that whole thing over again. So
no,
there's a lot of skill involved with all that. So hopefully we figure it out. Yeah, but that's part of.
I like it.
If I can do that, the way I want to grow the Patreon page specifically would be obviously upload a shit ton of content this next year. I want to have over 100 breakdowns that I do.
Yes.
Go back, delete everything I've ever done, right? Delete it all, and then really start polishing up videos where I'm having one breakdown or maybe a series of breakdowns on one athlete. And then from that, have a little curriculum. Like right now I'm breaking up at Giorgio Petrosian. So, and he's been studied extensively, so there's a shit ton of stuff on him, but I'm going through it and just watching everything everything he's done, every fight, even his mitt work, everything. But when I get done, I want to make sure I have a little curriculum because he's a southpaw. We have a lot of southpaws here. I want to make sure I understand exactly how elite southpaws fight. And then this is what they do. These are the things they need to be training on their own. So hand that to them or, just make it known to everybody through our training. This is what you should be working on. And then I want to do that with like Crawford or Habib and McGregor, whoever it is, So, but to have a curriculum based off actual fights, you know what I mean? Actual events that have happened that have success. So that's the idea.
No, yeah, I don't make curriculums. You know what I'm saying? I don't make curriculums.
Me neither.
So it's like, that sounds like Like, that sounds like it's a good idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. If you have a lot of lefties in the building, you watch a lefty a lot, and then you talk about them a lot. You make a lot of videos over that person the whole time while you're still focusing on the righties too.
Yeah.
But make your curriculum off of actual, fights. That just makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't do that. I've never thought about that before in my life.
Yeah, I have enough experience to know where I'm limited, and we're surrounded by all these insanely talented wrestlers here in Kearney. So if you don't know, Kearney, Nebraska is the home of like Kamaru Usman, Travell Delegnov, Joe Ellenberger, and a whole bunch of other stud wrestlers like TJ Hepburn, Rafion Stotts, Romero Cotton. All of these guys have had
Shout out to them.
incredible success, not just in wrestling but also in fighting. So here in Little Kearney, we're exposed to high level athletes, and shit, I don't know where I was going with that.
No, the being surrounded by wrestlers here in Kearney.
Oh yeah, so I'm not
as you're trying to grow your fight team.
I'm not a wrestling coach,
Right.
I'm not gonna have the same capability of a guy who's won a couple national titles. But what I do provide is an opportunity, because I'm dedicated to martial arts all year round, for these guys to come in and train. And then I'm always learning from these guys. So right now we have like Dante and Justin, and then we have Jackson, some elite level wrestlers. I would call them elite for them being in the sport for so long. Dante wrestling D1, Jackson wrestling here at UNK. Anyways, we can go on and on about grappling, but
No, yeah. We could. I say that a lot too. See, I started with no, yeah.
no, yeah. No, yeah.
It's just people being people. Plus, we don't always have to lead the conversation to a point. Sometimes the most fun is to just find it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I mean, did you, oh yeah, so Rich texted me a couple days ago. He was like, what's the plan for this Patreon pod? What's the plan? Yeah. And, I mean, I just sit around and listen to people all day. So I'm like, well, let's just go in with like 3 big words and then write like a little bit on them in our phones or whatever, and then talk about it. So, Rich, do you have the prepared material?
I didn't write it down.
Okay.
But I have like
That's
7
fine.
words.
That's fantastic.
Okay,
that's all good.
So
I've got my prepared material. Come prepared.
Dude, you're a badass, dude.
Shout out to April that gave me this pen at Perkins. This is my favorite pen.
Do you want me to start with the words?
Well, I mean, just talk about like the importance of going into something with a purpose really quick, because that's what we're doing. We want to do this with purpose. This Patreon is more us being how we are together than the other Spotify podcasts where we're having fun and we're joking around. We are joking around and having fun here. That is who we are, like, as people. Like, you're gonna joke around and have fun, but like, there's certain things that you don't really get to expound on when you're not going in with a purpose.
Right.
So this podcast and the show, the Breakdown Patreon podcasts, we're going to put the podcasts on the Breakdowns Patreon page. So it'll still be Combat on the Couch probably. It's just on Patreon Breakdown page. That's where it's going to be. And we're doing this for a purpose. Now, we got to figure out something else to do for the other Spotifys, which is probably something we should talk to, because now they don't have a show.
Oh, they will.
What?
What do you mean? I'm not.
Well, how are we going to put one out this week?
Well, that's okay. Make it more scarce.
They don't get one this week?
They don't get one this week.
They don't get one this week. They have to go to Patreon?
Patreon, baby. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
You think they're going to like that?
Who knows?
I don't
Hopefully.
think they're gonna like that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Can't please everybody.
Hell yeah.
So the people that are
Why do you want to do that? Just because we make money from the Patreon, or what? I mean, I'm just asking the obvious question.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
dude that's just gonna ask.
Yeah, the money from the Patreon, I'm making like $3 on 20 subscriptions a month right now. You know, it's not crazy money, but what I want to do is I want to learn how to grow this page for sure.
Okay.
This is a way of marketing
Yeah.
for sure, you know. So I've talked about people getting on the Patreon, especially we have a gym full of members. Not all of them are signed up, you know. So it's just a way of
to the
learning.
Patreon. Well, you can't take all these people's money.
Yeah, I can. I'm working my ass off.
That's true. That's true. It's true. And if you're invested and involved in something, you want to be involved in it all the way. So
I want to provide more value. And like, so what people don't understand too is I am legitimately serious about being a world champion caliber coach. So that comes from nobody from nowhere, me, you know, who's going to listen. But the proof will be in the pudding. As soon as we start getting more momentum, which we already have quite a bit, you know, then this would be a no-brainer. $3 for all this shit that we're going to do on this page, yeah, that's a no-brainer. But more people need to listen to it, and we need to market it a little bit more. So
why do you think it's a no-brainer?
Because you learn how to do business when you charge for something.
Why do you think it's a no-brainer for someone to watch us for $3?
Because of quality, the value. So, like I said, if you're really into martial arts, why wouldn't you? First off, if I'm your coach, right, and I'm the one that's leading the team, and you don't really know me, let's say you're a new guy, but you know I have a Patreon, you know all the fighters are on it, why wouldn't you want to listen to more in-depth breakdowns or film study or anything like that with your coach? Something that Cus D'Amato used to do with Mike Tyson all the time. And what happened with him? He became a world champion. So it's like having that as something that's accessible to not just one person like Mike Tyson and Cus D'Amato, but a group of people, it's huge. It's huge. So it's huge if you're a diehard, if you're really into it, like how I'm into it. You know, I want to build world champions. So even for parents, you know, parents that have their kids here, you probably want to listen to it too. If you want your kid, if hypothetically speaking, if they want their kid to be world champions, you know, you want to start having them think in that mindset and that frame of thought.
I agree.
So there's a lot, but yeah, to me it's a no-brainer. Could I be doing a lot of this for free? Yeah, I feel like I do a lot of this shit for free already. I've been doing it my whole life.
Right.
And
you're always talking to someone about a fight breakdown or, you know, building a relationship with someone and talking for a 2-hour period of time. That's a podcast.
Yeah. Right.
We're just doing it here, charging for it because you can't be with one person all the time.
Right.
So if you like that person and you have a good conversation with them and you say, is he talking to people and recording it because I want to be involved? That's what the Patreon is. That's what that is. You found somebody and you want to say, I want to know what he's doing more, but I don't get to be around him a lot.
Right.
Go to Patreon, pay for it. We are going to put things out that actually we think. So we don't want to say anything unless you're going to pay for it because you're going to pay for it because you want to be here. So we're not going to hide and we're not going to fake it. But we're not going to like throw, I don't know, we're not going to be too much. I mean, I'm a nice guy. He's a nice guy. You know us. You're here because you know us. So it's like, this is just what it is, you know? It's more personal and it's more, we're just trying to give more. We really do just want to like give more. Rich wants to give more to this Patreon. We already know what it is for me. It's just an opportunity to be an idiot and talk to somebody, you know? That's all I want in my life. And so we're going to figure it out. But I agree. It is a no-brainer.
Yeah. And
come to the Patreon. It's a good time over here.
The other thing is, I do want to eventually put things on YouTube, which will be free, but I want that content to be a little more polished. So this is all practice. So if you're on the Patreon, you're an early subscriber, there's obviously a way better content coming as I'm working on it. And then the stuff that we'll be putting on YouTube, we'll funnel it back into our Patreon page. And, hopefully it blows up. And as it's blowing up, my guys are fighting for big fights in the UFC. And I always say this to the guys, too. If we fight in the UFC and you only fought one time or 2 times and you got cut, then that was cool. But what was the point? We want to have a whole career fighting in the UFC. So we want to make more money that's going to last a lifetime rather than just have 1 or 2 fights. So that's the mission we're on currently.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So I'll start with one word and then give me a word from your head. Unless you want to start it. Do you want to start it? Would you like to start it? Captain?
Sure. So the words, I have a couple different words, but the first...
I just picked 3.
So the first 3 words, this is why I wanted to pick other words too, are from the gym, right? Respect, commitment, and passion. Those are our team standard. Respect, commitment, passion. So I can go into that or...
Yeah, no. No, I don't want you to go on 3. I want you to pick 1 and go on 1. That's the purpose.
Okay, so 1...
That's the purpose that we go in with.
1 is a word that I've really been thinking a lot about, and it's prolific.
I thought respect, commitment, passion.
So those are the team ones.
Oh.
Then
talk about that. Let's go back to that. Talk about why you guys picked those, why those are important then.
Man, so Alex actually watches a lot of soccer, and he watches this team, Arsenal. Arsenal has a new coach, and I forget his name because I'm not too big into soccer.
Me neither.
But this coach came in and just basically implemented standards, and the standards are respect, commitment, passion. Well, in the long line of me thinking about my fight team, I didn't think I could ever implement standards like respect, commitment, passion. I was like, you can't govern that within the walls of a business. And that's my dumbass thinking, right? It's like, okay, that's what great teams are built on. All great teams have a standard, And when you really are engaged in these things, I'm using the word engaged. You were using the word purposeful. Or what was the word you were using?
Talking about
intent,
what?
Purposeful intent.
Just going into something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go in with purpose, intent, all that,
right?
all that.
The same with engagement, So I use the word engagement. So once you really understand these 3 words and you're engaged with these 3 principles every day, like I always talk to the guys when we're doing ment work, you have to be engaged. Don't just go through the motions. You have to be in the moment. Think, visualize, see it happen. It's a skill that you have to practice every day to be engaged in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, when you're engaged with respect, commitment, passion, well, shit, that's a pretty fucking easy way to understand how you should be acting every day. Well, is this a committed way? Am I waking up on time to show up to training? Right? Well, if I'm not committed.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Right? Is that respectful to show up late to my coach?
Right. Boom.
No. Is it passionate to show up late? No. So there's a lot of things just right there where I didn't believe I could govern those things within this team. And it's fucking dumb because all elite teams are governed by their principles, their standard. And that's the biggest switch we've made over the last year and a half, too, is really buy into those things and being on time, being consistent every day. So that's commitment, and respect. And then the passion is just being here with a good attitude, So those 3 words. But the word that's really been on my mind that I was thinking for this, and I had a couple other words, but the main word is prolific. So I want when it's all said and done, for me to be looked at as a prolific person. Like I'm producing a ton of content on my Patreon page. I need to go out and just produce a ton of content. I need to build a ton of fighters. 5, 6 fighters isn't good enough. I need to have 20 professional fighters. And then I have to have a system of amateur guys coming up behind those guys. I have to be prolific. So I have to have these guys coming up all the time. I don't want to just own one business, you know. So I'm doing this Patreon. I own a gym. I have fighters. I do all this. So I want to own more businesses, more gyms, more things, and I got to be prolific. So if there's one word that's really been on my mind lately, it's being prolific. And if you're really good at something, you should be capable of being prolific.
Define prolific really quick in your own words.
High output, quality, high output. Like to use a metaphor like for a fight, right? So a guy that's throwing a lot of punches per round. I'm producing a lot of shit every day. You know, just high quality effort.
That's a prolific fighter?
Well, if you're talking about punching output, yeah. He's prolific with his punching, yeah. Or if you're talking about a guy that's fought a ton of amazing fights. Like right now, someone that's prolific would be Canelo. He's fighting a lot of top-tier guys. So his resume looks fucking amazing. Prolific. He's fought Floyd Mayweather, Triple G, various other champions. I can't even name them off the top of my head, but he's fought everybody in his time. So,
yeah,
just being prolific, you know. Some guys, they might win a fight here, they might beat a champion there, and then that's all they do their whole career. Like, and not to dog on Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor fought one guy, he fought two champions, beat him, and then he hasn't done anything since.
Mm-hmm.
That's not very prolific. It's just, I mean, he was great, but if you're one of the greatest of all time, you're prolific. You'll beat multiple champions. It doesn't matter what era.
Yeah. I think prolific for me, the way it's the exactly, you got to be like worthy of note. Like you have to be kind of like outstanding. It's kind of you're not average. You're definitely above average. It's more of on the end of elite. It's more on the end of probably the best.
Yeah, and I also think it reflects discipline, you know, and consistency over a long period of time.
Yeah, no, if you're the best, then you're obviously, you know, stupid people think, oh, they just made it one day. Like they just tried hard for a couple of years. No, the best, the most prolific, they already, they're on that already. Yeah. That's how you get there. You don't get that without 10 years of discipline.
Right. And then once you make it, some guys stop. That's not being prolific either, you know. It happens. Once you make it, you continue making it. Continue building. You're never satisfied, I think, is the other part. You got to keep going.
Definitely. I mean, if you're done fighting, you're going to open a gym. You're going to start a charity. You're going to move to Uganda and get clean water. Like, you're not done being an absolute prolific human being.
Right.
There's a difference between people that understand what being a prolific person is and being a prolific, just whatever your job title is, you know, prolific typer or accountant or fighter. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel way more of an urge to be like a good person, like a prolific person. I want to be a great podcaster for sure, but like I want to have a couple businesses. Like I want to grow, you know, but like, you know, if we were going to say like, you know, Josh's title is podcaster, like I definitely don't feel like I can stop after, you know, a podcast episode is done. You know, there's got to do more. Mm-hmm. I feel like.
Well, I
want to do a lot more.
As a coach, what it would look like is to produce so much talent that it's just a given fact that if you're coming out of Kearney, you're wiping out the regional scene. No regional fighter is going to want to fight you. That's the kind of mentality I want to have is
nice. But
we have to have 20 guys on that.
Yeah.
We have to have 20 guys on that page. And that's the challenge right now because the challenge would be, okay, not just to produce a talent, but you have to run the business that's good enough to bring in that talent. Because no one's going to be around a shitty business that's failing and then want to be coached by that person. So it doesn't reflect good leadership if you can't lead your own business. You know, so as the business grows and everything, it's just like, okay, it all is this same thing. It's all one thing. It's business, coaching, leadership. It's all the same thing. It's just, it comes out differently in different scenarios, you know?
Business and coaching, leadership, yeah. I mean, but it takes like a long time to realize that it's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Like at first, it kind of feels like, oh, I have to get good at business before I can get good at coaching, or the other way around. Maybe for you. For me, it's felt like, oh, I need to get good at like being funny before I start my podcast. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like starting your podcast and being funny are all under the same umbrella. For me, that's how it is. That's how it is. You can't be funny unless you have like people laughing. So the reason you start a podcast is because like people are kind of laughing at you. So you think like I might be funny, but like you can't, like, what's the other end of it? You can't really just start a podcast when nobody's listening, so you might not be funny. You know what I'm saying? Like there's moments in life where you're like, how do I get both of these to work together? And then you get to a certain level where you kind of realize like it's all together.
Yeah.
You just kind of do what you do, and now you have you have outlets. You've created an outlet for yourself to be yourself. Stop getting in your way and thinking too much about why you get listens on your podcast, or if Jane laughed at you, should you start a podcast? You know, those are real thoughts, but like they're thoughts that are gonna stop you from like growth. They're just not gonna like get you to keep going. You have to make a decision. So stop. You know, it's a problem.
Yeah, and I think we get caught up in like in this, what comes first, the chicken or the egg scenario.
For real.
You know, it's like, okay, do I learn business first, or do I just become such a good coach that it doesn't matter? Blah blah. You know, and it's just it is all of it. You just gotta throw yourself into it and figure it out. But what I've learned through martial arts, since, you know, I fought and I was doing jiu-jitsu and I was doing all this, was that if you're just willing to learn and you're tough enough to survive over a long period of time, you're going to have success. I mean, even the amount of success we've had recently, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know?
For real.
But I've stuck in it long enough, and I've been willing to make the mistakes and learn from them, and you know, I'm sure there's going to be a ton more mistakes I'm going to make, and
yeah.
But you keep learning how to be a leader and a coach and a business person all at the same time. It's just, and it grows and it builds. So what I am doing, hopefully, in this process is building myself to be an elite coach. So that's part of the reason we're even doing the Patreon, is for me to help myself be an elite coach, get the reps in on film study, and basically even the film study is just more coaching. You know,
that's all it is. Yeah, you're just coaching someone else, coaching a little TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm coaching myself in a sense,
right? Coaching yourself, yeah.
So
the Patreon, I mean, putting out content on whatever level, it's proven it's gonna help you grow. I don't know why. When we do it for the right thing, like when you have the gym, you have the coaching, like we're adding social media now, and it's like there's no charts that read no when you add social media. Right. And you do it right, and you do it consistently, and we have a good content that's being put out. All the recipes are for success. Mm-hmm. Something that I recently watched that hurt my feelings was Gary Vee tried to tell an employee of his, someone who was trying to become an employee. She was like, yeah, I really want to do this. And he was seriously considering it. And he was like, you need to post more for yourself. You're posting way more for other people. Mm. And that's exactly where I'm at. It's because it hurt my feelings. That's how you know it hurt my feelings. Because that's what I'm in the thick of it. I'm trying to get a product out. I'm trying to get good quality out. And I'm trying to sustain it. And in the whole time, I'm looking at me on my little. I mean, in high school, I used to post like pictures of myself. I don't post pictures of myself anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just post content. So if it's a picture of me, it's a picture of me, but I don't think about it like this is just for my friends. I'm constantly thinking, is this going to do numbers? Is this going to get more than the last one? Should I put a filter on it? Does it need a sound?
Definitely.
I'm literally
Shit, that's funny though, because that's how I think. I hardly ever post shit on my own things.
Well, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It was brought to my attention by a professional that I will not be hired
Gary,
at. I will not be hired at his company unless I am living more for me than I am for the job. So fuck, right? Go live, baby.
It's kind of hard when you're so busy too, though.
Well, you have to live. That's the thing. You literally have to do things that you like to do. You have to go live only doing things that you like.
Yeah, you do that.
Oh, dude, when I'm passionate, the pot needs to be stirred up because it sat for a while, right? I don't know why. Get the sauce. I'm on it, but it's stuck.
That's what it fucking looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's good shit, dude.
Clip it. What was I talking about?
Living life.
Yeah, no. It's hard to do when you're busy, but you have to be busy doing things that you only enjoy doing. You can't have anything in your life that kind of like brings you like high levels of stress.
Well, I feel like that's what you do when you're doing a podcast, right? You're living life.
You're doing what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, even with the breakdowns and coaching and all that, I really enjoy all of it. So it's all work in progress, and I'm always very critical of myself. But at the end of the day, what I tell myself to get over that part of it is just fucking, you gotta go. Just be prolific right now. Now, the content's not gonna be good. Just fucking put all of it out there though, and then it's another rep, and you get in the habit and the discipline of doing it all the time. And then when you get in the habit and discipline doing it, then you can add quality, or you'll just get better.
Exactly. One day you go to do your video and you got a present from somebody and it's a cool new camera and you're like, oh, this is going to help me do my thing that I already do. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be, oh, I need to get a studio so that I can do my podcast. Mm-hmm. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Oh, I need to learn how to make AI videos on TikTok so that I can make it, so that I can get my TikTok going. No, you're wrong. You need to make TikToks.
And then make them.
Yeah. And then eventually you're going to figure out how to do the AI TikToks, I've got a lot of people that personally ask me on a daily basis for help and advice, and that's my reoccurring thing.
Yeah. Well, same with training, I want to train eventually, I just need to get in shape first, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right,
it's hard.
Well, you can just start fucking training. That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it literally hurts you to say to, after a certain point, you're like, dog, what do I have to do to never say this again?
No, I don't even at this point, I don't even respond to people. It's like, okay, yeah, you just don't really want to train.
Yeah.
But I don't say that out loud. I'm like, okay.
Right. No.
Oh, you want to get, you're going to be here at the beginning of the new year. You're going to be here 6 months later. Okay. Yeah. No, you're not going to be here.
Yeah.
You don't really want it, dude.
No.
But
there's
I don't
been
waste
certain
time. I don't want to waste head space or time thinking about that. It's just what it is.
Yeah. No, yeah. You're right. We shouldn't waste headspace on that. That's actually I love that moment right now. Let's just not waste headspace on that. I don't want to waste time or headspace on that. Boom. That's actually a skill to develop. That's hard to do sometimes. When you get in a moment where you don't want to actually talk about it, hey, this sucks, so let's not talk about it. Yeah, but also. No, for real? I don't want to talk about it. Let's not talk about it. That's a waste of time and headspace. Boom, on to the next. So I've got a couple words. I like so they all my words kind of go together. I don't know, man. Sometimes I get real like I get like dramatic. Like
Good.
you know, I get like theatrical.
Well, that's good. That's good, man. Let's hear it.
So my first word is perseverance. This is just a word that I've been dealing with in my life, right? And then I wrote a little poem. I said, perseverance. I love quitting. It's easy. In quotes. I give up. It's freedom. Freedom to find purpose in a different area. Sticking it out is hard. In quotes, fuck it, I'll figure it out. Damning you to a life of struggle. Or is it?
That was all of it?
So,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that.
That's my perseverance word.
All right. Hey, I like that.
You could read that for yourself while we speak about it because, well, you probably can't read that. That's my handwriting.
that was my handwriting's just a little bit better. No, actually, it's not any better. But that's really good. What I would say is, obviously, it's all the exact opposite. You have more freedom when you persevere, because it's a lie to think that quitting's
Let me
gives you
explain.
freedom.
Let me explain it.
But no, yeah. No, yeah.
Okay, so like, I like what I'm saying when I say freedom. Okay, so I straight up do love quitting. I'm like a pretty inherently pothead stoner dude on the inside. Like I really don't want to do a lot. My default is I don't want to. I have trained myself over years and other people in my life, and God has trained me to have a different default most of the time. So when I get into situations that are hard for me, it's easier to go, okay, how do we just go at this? But my default is, well, that looks like a tough fucking time. Don't want to do it. For real. So I love to say, like, I give up, but, and it is free. When I say, like, I give up, I feel like so much like, oh, fine, I don't have to do it. I literally don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't care. But, like, fuck it, I'll figure it out. Damning you to a life of struggle, or is it? No, like, persevering through that has always been, like, feeling that feeling of I want to give up. Persevering through, fuck it, I'll figure it out. Damning me to have to work hard right now. I have to actually fucking do shit for however long it's going to take. Because I've already made the decision, fuck it, I'll figure it out. We're going to persevere. Damning me to a life of struggle. No, it's not struggle. You're struggling, but when you get it done, though, there's like a whole different area of opportunity and self-confidence and just like happiness, like straight up happiness that like I did that. Like I'm very happy that I did that. Like that's a thing, you know? So that's why it's a poem. It's supposed to make you think, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, how do you feel about, perseverance? And then, you don't have to expound exactly on what I said, but
Yeah, I think it's...
I'm a genius, so you should not.
I think it's really important, obviously. Character building and...
just not quitting on stuff, Just like if you care about it. Mainly stuff that you care about.
Yeah, there's definitely things you're going to have to quit, but you got to choose those battles and figure it out. But like in regards to you and your podcasting, or me and being a coach and running a business, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't persevere, because there's a lot of times I could have quit. But it's like when you think about quitting, you're quitting on your passion and your dream. That's not freedom. That really isn't freedom.
Yeah, now you have to go get a job at somewhere else.
Now you're trapped. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think perseverance is super important. Yeah.
I'm not saying like there's a million words, I'm not picking 3 and saying like, hey, these 3 have to be in your brain every day, all day. And, but these are just 3 words that I decided, I wrote these and, I didn't spend a lot of time on them just because you can't spend a lot of time on something that only has 2 sides. Mm-hmm. But like, it's just a word, and I really do love quitting. I quit so much. I'll start a job and then I'll do the job just enough so that people are off my back. And then I start to slack off. And then I won't clean the salad station, shout out Perkins. And I won't cut the cantaloupe right, shout out Perkins. And I won't sweep the floor if you tell me to, shout out Domino's. Like, I just won't do them because I'm like, I've done so good up to this point that no one's watching now. Now I can just be myself. And who I am is a dirty little trash boy who don't want to do no hard work. And it's true because it keeps showing up in my life. And it's a problem. But you part of self-awareness is being aware that you have a problem. That's one of my problems for sure, being a lazy person.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up in things I care about though. Notice that.
Well, you haven't noticed it yet.
Maybe I haven't noticed it yet.
It does show up I think that's just part of being a human being.
I think it is. And there's always ebbs and flows. But, I mean,
yeah,
it's true. It's true. That's life. Have you noticed it in me? Talk about it.
I mean, I'm not around enough to notice that.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Good.
I thought you were gonna tell me some insight right now. I was like, it's noticeable.
Oh,
Or were
yeah.
you just speaking in general?
Oh yeah, it's noticeable. You need to fucking step your game up.
Don't fucking fire me right now. Don't fire me on the pod right now.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Nah, I'm just playing.
If it's one area in your life you struggle with, most likely it carries over to other areas of your life.
Yeah.
I notice it for me.
If I'm really disciplined in everything that I'm doing work-wise, my apartment is shit. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm so disciplined, and I feel like I'm doing so good in everything money-wise, and then I look at my immediate in front of my nose, and the kitty litter box hasn't been changed for a month and a half. You know, all the dishes are dirty. I am now using, like, the backups. They're like styrofoam cups that I got like 6 months ago. Like, it's bad, you know? That's just how it shows. It shows through. Can it fit on him, dude?
I don't know.
Here, I'll pull from this end, you pull from that. Yeah, brother. Dang,
Oh
dude.
shit.
Dang, dude, let's go.
Scary as shit.
Dang, dude. Scary AF.
Freddy the Panda.
So you got another word?
I
I mean, we
I
can
don't.
make them all day.
I don't.
We can make them all day. Come on, here, read one. If you can. I literally don't know if you can.
Solitude.
Solitude.
Best and worst friend. I get a lot accomplished alone. I figure myself out when no one is watching me.
It's hard. It's hard to read.
But if I another person to my shoulder rhythm.
This is awesome. Anybody that's ever heard me or tried to read my stuff knows exactly what you're going through right now. That's so funny. Okay, solitude. Best and worst friend. I get a lot accomplished alone. I figure myself out when no one is watching me. But if I add another person to my schedule / rhythm, the work seems to become easier for me to manage. So, I mean, I really do enjoy alone time, right?
Yeah, so do I.
But it's my best and worst friend. Like, I will be alone. I smoke weed, so I like to smoke weed alone and be alone for too long sometimes. And when I get out into the world, then I realize, oh, this is what the world's like now. Wow, I remember this. This is nice. And I'm not saying this to say that weed is bad for you. I'm saying too much of anything in your life bogs you down, okay? Just take the note on that, all right? If you're watching Love Island for a bit, if you're on a good bender for a weekend, okay, you're going to go into work Monday like, I need more dopamine. I need more of a rush. I need to watch someone else live their life because that's what you like, you know, or you need whatever you need. Whatever you're doing to get that fix is what you need more of, right? So that's how it is for me sometimes. And it's my best friend because when I'm alone, I like to do a lot of things, and sometimes I don't smoke weed, and I get a lot done when I'm alone, and I do that. Go out into the world, take videos, go golfing, meet people, build relationships, eat dinner, go to the gym, go for a walk, you know, throw rocks at trash cans. All that stuff is really, really fun for me to do when I'm not trying to bog myself down with like, oh, but I just need some alone time. You know, if you could figure out how to get some more alone time in your day, it's really hard. It's literally like really, really hard. But if I wasn't constantly trying to be like, oh, but I got to get going because I got to, you know, be like, we are busy people. That's kind of how it is. But sometimes you're just trying to go be alone. It's the best and worst friend. I still haven't even got to a point in this. I mean, it's all just true. I pretty much just wrote my feelings out. I get a lot done when no one's watching me. If I add another person to my schedule / rhythm, the work seems to become easier for me to manage. Like there's another person in there. So I can tell this person, we should get this done, or I'll do this if you do this. Or if they're telling me like, hey, can you do this so I can do this? It's just easier for me to manage the work. I don't know. Solitude, brother.
So
what you
find
got
the right
on
girlfriend, huh?
Oh, phew. I mean, you've got a girl. I don't. And yeah, that's literally, I a little bit need like an itinerary planner. I a little bit need a laundry folder. I a little bit need like a coach. I a little bit need like, I know somebody to, you know, get me up in the morning. I need an alarm. Like, I don't know what I need in a woman, but it has to be a strong one for sure. You know? How do you do it? How do you guys make it work with all this stuff?
Not the person to ask.
Well, what do you think is a reason that makes it work? Or is it just the guy answer, she does, it's her?
I think, and this is just something you hear all the time, but I think relationships should be complementary. And yeah, you know, if you're caught up in the infatuation and how you guys look, and you're attracted to each other, and that's purely the whole basis of the relationship, that shit ain't gonna last. Obviously, that's got to be there too.
Of course.
But if you're complimentary, I feel like that's built to that's sustainable. You know, you can sustain a relationship when it's complimentary. A lot easier. But I'm not a relationship guru, so.
Hey, you're your own relationship guru.
Right. Well, we all are in that sense.
Right now, I'm the relationship guru that sits alone on the top of the mountain and talks to like the one tree. You know, I'm like the coaches don't play.
So what's
guru.
your advice?
Yeah, dude.
What is
it? Are you serious? You want to know?
Been talking to the trees all day. What is it?
Go talk to more trees instead of women.
Right. Hey, that's probably a good one.
Dude, I don't even know. I mean, for a while, it's just kind of it just feels like I don't need that and I don't deserve it. I think a part of me isn't going to recognize that I have like a good thing in front of me when I have one. So
I think you'll recognize it. Like, for example, if someone really believed in you, I mean, you're probably going to feel that right away.
Yeah.
You look through people right away. I think what you do a good job is you read people really well. So if someone's really wanting you to succeed, I mean, and they're not just interested or whatever for status or whatever it is, you know, then I think you'll. But how did we get to this topic? What's the last word?
We were getting all cute with it, bro. That's how we started talking about relationships. I appreciate that, though. It is hard for me to like see through people sometimes, but I'm literally trying so hard that it's like it is easy for some people because they have good intentions.
Right.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah. I think as humans, you are looking through people constantly. You're trying to like decipher who they are and what they want, but People with
self-preservation, right?
out of self-preservation, out of, if you're not a piece of shit, like you're trying to look through somebody and say, is this another good person? You're trying to establish that there's a culture recognition. You're trying to establish that you can do business here, that you can conversate, that you can talk. So you get to that level easier when people's intentions are good. It's another one. I got it.
No, yeah, I agree.
I think it's easy, If people got good intentions, they want to do business, they want to grow, they want to learn, they want to interact, they want to build together. It's easy to see that, but when somebody has something else going on, and it's dude, you got to keep them right here, dog. You can't have them close. You don't know what they're doing. You don't understand. Or you keep your enemies close or you keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Right.
You're like, oh, I definitely am not leaving this guy's side, but I'm literally going to watch everything he does and question everything he does.
Yeah.
And that's just no life to live. That's really hard to do that.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that.
Ugh, it's draining. Okay.
What's the last one there, guy?
Okay, last word. This is community. We've been talking about it a lot here, so I just thought about it for a second, and this is what I thought about it. Community. Solitude's worst nightmare. The lazy narcissist in me hates building relationships and getting to know people directly involved in my day-to-day. The little kid that wants to make friends, deep inside me, loves community.
Interesting.
It's funny because kids love to be around other kids.
Yeah.
Kids be around kids, they get together and they build. They do things together. They fight, they cry, but they do things together. They kind of, kids be kids.
Yeah, kids are, humans are just communal beings.
Yes.
You need a community.
Right.
To have purpose or to feel like you have purpose and be fulfilled. You have to have meaningful relationships. Yeah. Which is part of what, we have a gym. And that's part of what a leader does is help make sure the community's healthy and fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always sunshine and Rambos.
No, yeah.
Shout out to Han Solo. We had a kid at YRTC, by the way. I used to work at YRTC.
All right.
And this kid, so basically it's a prison for kids.
Right.
And this kid drew a rainbow, and he wrote a little thing on this paper. He's like, it's not all sunshine and Rambos. He misspelled rainbows.
And Rambos.
And me and my buddy Hansel, he's the one that was telling me about it. And that shit's so funny to this day. It's not sunshine and Rambos, like fucking Rambos out there.
Shirt. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a good time.
Yeah.
That's funny as fuck. But it's not, though.
It's not all sunshine and Rambos.
Sometimes as a leader and, someone who loves everybody around them and you just want to care for everything and look over it, you like, that means so much. Some days you get to walk around and say, hey, are you good, brother? All right, let's go. Let's do this. We're going to be all right. Hey, are you doing? I love it.
I can't do that.
I love it, dude. No, I love it.
What?
It's like when I stop, I'm just like, ha! I'm just like so happy. I don't know what to do. Like Jared came over the other weekend, and now I'm saying, brother, man.
Brother. He said, brother.
Yeah, like how he says it like a.
He says it like a Russian almost.
Yeah, he's
Russian,
like a
brother.
We should probably put that, or dude, I don't know. He ends the word with brother, in the way that he says it.
Yeah, we should probably put that chainsaw away, brother, like that, brother.
The way he says it, bro,
in
I
so
like
many
it.
different ways, really.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and it's kind of constant. But I've kind of constantly started doing it. So I hope that you, in your future, say, "Hey, man."
What is that?
I
though?
hope
What
somebody
is that?
catches it. I don't know. That's the way that I when I get talking to somebody and I don't know how to say anything, I want to like, I'm pulling my fingers together, and then when I'm trying to get whatever I'm trying to get out, I'm using my whole arm and right arm to do this like driving steering wheel type motion. But I don't know. It's just a good time.
Yeah, I see.
There's other people in my life that I do this to too. They're like they do stuff like me, and I'm like, I'm like charades, dude. What are you doing? But no, so yeah, you don't get to walk around and just say everything's good today. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Some days are like that. Some days you have those good days, I'm sure. But some days you have to have bad days, and you have to like figure out how to have that bad day. You literally have to have it though. So you have to go into work and it's a mess and everything's all over the place and someone is crying and someone's not here and someone's upset at something, and then there's actual work to be done that just has to get done because it's part of it. So you got to have those days, and that's why building like real culture, real understanding of what we're trying to do here, you used the word earlier, just the atmosphere, the overall atmosphere in the gym, building that. I mean, at any business that you're building something at, building how you are when you're doing it, like it's really important. It's really overlooked.
Yeah. I wish we had access to people that studied ancient tribes so we can have a conversation. Because that shit's fascinating. Like, just think about the Native Americans. That's not even that long ago, really. But if you think about the Native Americans and how they governed themselves in that small community of people, that's just fascinating. Or the Aztecs or the Mayas or even the European states or countries or whatever,
Right.
Just the way human beings have communed within their...
I mean, they still have caste systems in India.
Right.
Like, just looking at the way people are with each other, I mean, Indians didn't have any technology, so they had to say, the biggest, strongest dudes have to go hunt.
Right.
You're not a big, strong dude, Joshy. You have to stay back with the women. That probably would have been a decision that somebody had to make about me when I was 15.
Shit.
Right?
That would have been...
Like...
I wouldn't have been the guy.
Now,
yeah, it's...
Maybe they could take me now, but when I was 15 or 14 and you're starting to, like, become a man and you're starting to get the mustache hairs, and they're like, are we really going to bring him?
They're looking at you as a liability. We're going to bring that guy? Fuck. You lucky if we come back.
We've become soft. We've become soft in society. I literally would have been left behind, but now we're in a different age where we don't have a caste system. We don't have to leave them behind. We can actually bring them along and we can teach them things. We can show them stuff and we can love on them because we understand that that's kind of how it needs. But leadership and community is really hard when you don't understand that. And then when you throw in social media and everything that we have now, and then try to build community like that, we're seeing the struggle that we're having.
Right.
You don't get to go directly at someone and say, "You're not strong enough. Stay with the women," because it's too hard to say. But that's exactly what would have happened back in the day.
What's fascinating is how this shit just naturally unfolds since the beginning of time. We've always had communities of people that govern themselves. And what I've learned through this is like it's naturally unfolding even within my life where I've built this community around me, and now I need to be a leader. I need to figure out how to lead, which leading is, to me, is more than anything just being disciplined on the principles we talked about. So even when we first started that conversation, it's respect.
Those three.
What was it? Respect.
Three. Yours.
Commitment,
compassion.
Yeah. So respect, commitment, passion. If you don't have those, what kind of community are you in? Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't have respect or commitment or passion,
there we go.
Then you're going to be living in a really shitty community where you're going to be fending for yourself, most likely.
It is a community. It's there.
Yeah.
It's just a bad community.
It's not an ideal place to live.
Right. Somewhere that needs, it's a community that like obviously needs like work. Or if you don't work on it, ultimately it is bad community. You don't want to stay there.
Yeah. So it's a fascinating thing that kind of, I think throughout every human's life you should experience it, but not every human experiences it because not everybody's part of a community. Mm-hmm. It's been easier and easier, you know, as technology and everything's blown up over the years to be in solitude, like you were talking about.
It's easy now. I don't need anything. I don't need to leave.
Just be on my phone all day.
Order it to the house. You know, yeah, I can make money on the phone. I don't need to go nowhere. I don't need anything.
And life was way more fulfilling when you're inside of a community.
Oh.
You're living life. So
it feels fantastic. It feels fantastic to have somebody walk in and just be like, "Hey, you want a blueberry?" Like you wouldn't get that if you're alone. That little feeling of someone offering you one singular blueberry, like that's a human that you can only get from another human. No, you know, you can't do that alone. You can't order 500 blueberries and feel that same feeling. Right. So there's that. You know, that's just the thing.
Well, we're about an hour and a half in, I think.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, let's send it. Yeah.
Or do you want to end it on one thing, or for the people out there?
Well, I mean, let's think about this. How do we want to finish our first Patreon episode on the breakdown with Connie Combat Sports and Ugly Franco Productions and Richard Barajas and Josh White and Freddie and the Ugly Franco and the podcast Panda here? How do we want to end our first episode, dude?
Thank you to everybody that subscribed to the Patreon page. Appreciate you guys. And we still have merch that's available. Hit it up on the online store. Shirts with Combat on the Couch on the front of it. And then beanies for sale. So that store will close November 5th. That's coming up. Make sure you order your shit before it's too late. Besides that, be on the watch for a shit ton more breakdowns, and if you're consistent with the channel, there also will be actually merch specific to the channel. So I'm gonna have breakdown merch.
Yeah, we're gonna have some breakdown merch.
Breakdown merch coming soon. I already placed an order for it. It's badass.
Nice.
If you like the logo for the Patreon for the Patreon page, it's very similar. I'll have to post some pictures of that. That's pretty much it. Thank you. Appreciate you for being here.
Hey,
and
I already know.
Obviously,
you already know.
What's his name again? Freddie the Panda.
Freddie the Panda. That's right. Frenda. I don't know. He probably needs a shower. I haven't watched him ever. I honestly have never thrown him in the shower, dude. He probably needs a bath. Yeah, I guess in my news, I mean, stay up, babies. All right, stay up. What does it mean to stay up? Just keep your eyes up. All right, keep your head up. Okay, keep your chin up. All right, keep your eyes up though. That's a big one. Keep your eyes up. All right, don't be looking at your feet when you're walking. Okay, you're gonna hit something. It's probably gonna be me because I'm driving and texting. Hey, thanks. Thank you. This is episode 1.
All right. See you guys. Adios.
Bye.